Hi, folks, and welcome back to the Star Wars Library, where Star Wars is in print. And man, I tell you, there's been a lot going on in life lately. Grad school, kids are getting older, work, uh, marriage, home ownership. Oh, and the Beatles released a new song, so there's been a lot going on, folks. But we're going to be continuing today to finish our short story adventures or journey through Tales from the Mos Eisley Cantina. So where we left off was at the short story Night Tilly, the Lover's Tale. And in this, scheming Lethero fell to Pren Trevags is caught by Mium Onuth. Some of these names, I tell you. Anyways, basically, she's stranded and she misses her flight off world, and so these two have this offer of marriage. and eventually, Miyum murders Feltapern with her razor sharp tongue, per the mating custom. Basically, it's it's a very interesting story, I'll tell you that. Next up is Empire Blues, the Devarian's Tale. Gosh, some of these names, I tell you, in my head, it seems to come out great, and then once you do it in person, it just. But anyways, this story is by Daniel Keyes Moran, and in this, Kara Dusal Malak, a former Imperial security officer, is on Tatooine, and he is a fugitive and takes on the name Labria. And so when he hears that Figurin Dan and the model nodes are plating at Lady Valerian's wedding, he arranges an Imperial crackdown and basically sets him up. And he ends up finding himself in his favorite hangout, and that is the Mos Eisley Cantina. And so, kind of a straightforward story there. Next on is Soupçon, the Pipe Smoker's Tale. Danik Jericho, 1,000-year-old Anzani vampire, actually. Basically, he seeks to strike and to take out Luke Skywalker and Han Solo, but they depart, and so no such luck. The next one, Swap Meet, a Jawa's Tale, is basically about a very brave Jawa named Het Nick, and he sets out to avenge the death of his clanmate, Jek Nikik, whose sandcrawler was the one that we saw in A New Hope that was destroyed by the stormtroopers. And so he's actually meets up with Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he hears, or I should say, he hears them in passing from Obi-Wan. He doesn't actually directly communicate with him. But anyways, he meets in passing, and he hears words from him. He's really, inspired by that. And so basically, he pops into the cantina real quick. He does his thing, and then he goes off and has his blaster, and he actually confronts stormtroopers in the street. So it's kind of cool. I think he's one of the Jawas that we see in the cantina in the movie. Two more stories. The second to last one is called Trade Winds, a Renant's Tale. And basically, a Renant trader named Ragesh barters with Het Nich, that Jawa that we talked about. And basically, he's trading him a Tusken battle talisman. And he basically then secretly takes a power charge from the Jawa's blaster. And obviously, this results in the Jawa dying because he's essentially unarmed. And that kind of ends the story. It's like, oh, shoot. It's interesting, that last story, we're building up this Jawa, and then he's gone. So, that's quite something. Anyways, the last story that we're going to talk about in this is At the Crossroads, the Spacer's Tale. And basically, this is the guy who is that spacer that kind of talks to Obi-Wan. He's like, oh yeah, and then he walks off, and then there's Chewie. And basically we find he raced to Tatooine after he broke the Kessel Run record. He meets Obi-Wan briefly and pretty much just saw in the movie. He's like, oh shoot, he's on the run, and he meets up with Obi-Wan, and then he moves on, and he actually takes on some Imperials, and we find out that he was kind of influenced by Obi-Wan Kenobi to actually do the deed. And so very interesting. So ultimately, to conclude this, I mean, it's a good read. I mean, some of the short stories are better than others, but it's a good collection of stories, and it's a lot of fun, you know, to go through these and to you know, learn more about all the cool creatures that were in the Cantina. That's one of the things about the EU that I really like. There's many of things, but one of them is, you know, you're peeling back the layers and learning more about this universe, and that's, you know, the whole point of why a lot of these hardcore fans want to get into it. They want to know this kind of stuff. They're interested in this. And thank you, Kevin J. Anderson and all these authors, for coming together and bringing this all together and creating a lot of great short stories. Now, Bantam would do more Tales of novels, and which is, you know, obviously more collections of stories, but those will have to wait for a future video.